You're listening to the Ballet Piano Podcast, lifting the lid on dance accompaniment.
Hello, listeners, and hello, viewers. Sorry, listeners. I was just asking Matt if I was
easy time today.
I was asking Matt if I was hosting this episode, and it turns out I am. Hello, listeners and viewers, and everybody else. Welcome back to this episode of the Ballet Piano Podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about a very specific area of ballet, which is point work and playing for point work and setting point work exercises. But before we delve into those point shoes and down that rabbit hole, let me introduce who is around my kitchen table today. I am Chris Hobson. We've got Akiko Hobson.
Hello.
Matt Gregory.
Hello, listeners.
And of course, David Yao.
Hi, everybody.
Right, so point work, for those of you who don't know, this is my limited understanding of point. It's when you go up, in point shoes, on your toes, and it really hurts. That's about as much as I know about point.
Have you ever put any point shoes on?
Have I? I've never put.
That's it then. That's our next project.
Yeah.
It's
That'll be on the social media.
Yeah.
Did they make point shoes in my size?
They do.
I'm only 9.5.
Probably.
They make your size in different colors and everything.
Yeah.
Now, you know the girls, they don't need to tie the ribbon anymore. They have
Really?
this elastic thing.
No.
Yeah,
really?
it's like a strong elastic
Oh, wow.
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
so
what's
they
a
don't
cheat?
put
They've got all sorts of things
in our day.
Right, anyway, come on, we're getting off topic already. When this is only episode 1 of the recording, we've got a long way to go. Right, so originally point was predominantly done by ladies, wasn't it? I think back in the day. And then who changed that really?
There have always been ballets where men have actually gone on point, like in Ashton's The Dream,
Yeah.
Midsummer Night's Dream. Bottom, the character Bottom,
Yes.
as an ass, is on point. Yes.
Okay.
It's really famous. It's very good.
But that's just to look like hooves, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Yeah.
So it's not trocadero.
Well, exactly.
the
the
trucks.
trucks,
Yeah.
are an extension
yeah.
of what's where it's going. Really, it's amazing what they do.
The trucks are
It
very
really
good.
is. I mean, they started out like comedy, and now it's become like a big thing. you know,
Yeah, but they're very strong, aren't they?
Yeah, it was all,
Brilliant.
it was to pastiche the classics, but because the men are so strong on point, they do it as good as the women. Dare I say?
You dare. You did. But so point work training starts. How old usually? I mean, this is going to be probably quite a general episode, but usually girls would be about, 13, 14 in vocational schools when they start on point?
Depending on how the skeleton and your feet develop.
Right.
So around starting about 11, you start thinking about it, start putting the shoes on, starting to teach the students how to actually prepare the shoes, what it feels like to go up. And you gently ease them in between 11, 12.
Right.
Like that. But it's very difficult to say an age. It's really about how you're
so it's how the
developing.
development's
Yes,
going.
yeah.
And playing for points, it's one of those sort of quite specific exercises, isn't it? A specific sort of sets of exercises, because the movement, it's training at the start, certainly at the start. You need sort of like lots of slow threes or polkas and mazurkas, polonaises, all those sorts of things, because the choreography for point
Choreography?
I'm trying to be as eloquent as I can here. You lot are just ripping the pee out of me. Yeah. So how you choreograph the exercises is incredibly detailed and specific. It's almost more than some of the class exercises, isn't it? And there's certain rhythms and nuances in those rhythms which are reflected in things like polkas and gallops.
Because it's so difficult to do and it takes such a lot of strength and control, things start to tend to begin very slowly and repetitively. And that's why the tempia are generally slower, because you need a lot of time to find that balance and that feeling. Because it's really difficult to put your whole weight on the ends of your toes.
I don't want to do it. It sounds so painful.
We've got to do that now, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think, Chris,
Yeah.
try to start with the high heel shoes to see how you feel.
I once wore high-heeled shoes and fishnets and a dress going to watch Rocky Horror Show in 2005 or
Really?
2006 at the Lowry, yeah.
Wow.
And a full-length leather coat. I looked great walking around Salford Keys in that. How I didn't get the hell kicked out of me, I don't know.
I mean, what I want to know, I don't suppose you can answer, David, but at what point does it stop hurting and become, this is what we're going to, this is what we do all day?
I thought
for
it
the
doesn't.
dancers. But I mean, dancers in the company, it can't hurt like it does when they're 11.
I mean, you get used to it, no?
You just get you.
You
Is
get
it still
used
always
to
painful?
It, but I
Just get
guess
used
it's
to
like,
it?
you know, when you're training your fingers to play the piano, and you know, all those, when you're doing long pieces, it gets really tiring, doesn't it? And often painful at the end of your fingers and things, maybe?
No.
No.
But if I was to play the piano, because I don't play the piano, it would hurt me to do all of that.
Yeah.
Repetitive, percussive thing on the...
Your arms, I think your arms might get tired.
Yeah, your arms and
and
your
your muscles and your
shoulders.
shoulders. Yeah, your fingers actually not so much, strangely.
Yeah,
Because all you're doing is you're not putting weight into the keys when you play. You're
Yeah,
literally pushing the keys down, or to get that big fortissimo sound, you don't have to use a lot of weight, unless you know you're in a church hall and the piano is really rubbish.
It's the weight behind your arms as opposed to your fingers, isn't it?
Well, when you're preparing to go on to Pointe, you have to do millions and millions of preparatory exercises before you even start to get up there to strengthen the muscles in the feet, because there's so many muscles there, and you to actually protect the bones, you need the strength in your feet, and of course at that age they're growing all the time. So that's a difficulty anyway. So even before you get onto Pointe, you're already starting to do those exercises.
I've seen them do that one with the TheraBand, where that's the TheraBand, and they. I'm doing it in the camera. You know, when they do that with the feet.
Yeah, you're pulling towels and things underneath you and picking up pencils and all sorts of things like that, just to get those muscles ready to go.
Your
on
hands
Pointe.
got to be like fingers, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And the whole point of the Pointe shoe is that it actually draws all the bones together, so they've got more strength together as a unit rather than separate. That's why they're built the way they are.
I didn't know that.
Today there are like so many different brands and fittings and everything to cater for different sizes.
And so many different customizations.
Absolutely.
What the makers can do to adjust every facet of the Pointe shoe.
And then they have like the Pointe shoes for the bar, Pointe shoes for the center, Pointe shoes for the jump.
Yeah.
Like they have so many.
Harder Pointe shoes for like
balancing.
for balancing, and softer ones when they want the feet to look
And
gorge.
they keep changing in between exercises, aren't they?
The idea of it all was so that the ballerina would look ethereal, like she was floating across the floor. That's what it was all about. So when they first started to have Pointe shoes, they weren't built like they are today. They were just reinforced like soft shoes. So they could only go up and down like for seconds, literally seconds. So it's a momentary thing to look aerial and weightless. And then as the technique got better, then the shoes developed to help them do more things to stay on point for longer. So now that they are works of engineering, really. There's an amazing one. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like an engineering thing that you have like an insole, and then you put things on the outside that slip over like a sock. It's amazing.
Oh, I've seen this.
It's absolutely amazing. I've never seen one in real life, but I've seen them on video.
Yeah, the technology's come a long way,
It is amazing.
hasn't it?
Absolutely amazing. But you're right, they are custom made. Every single one is custom made for the ballerina to go on, or the ballet dancer to go on Pointe.
It's like their own custom scaffolding, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But it's a throwaway product.
Yes.
They've got a shelf life, haven't they? And they've
Very
got
short
a window where they are
optimum.
the optimum window of where before they're knackered.
So the preparation, you should did you ask Anita and Petal? You should have asked them how they prepare Pointe shoes and things.
Matt, you ask her next week when you're working with her. You can report back.
The bunhead in me has watched all the videos on YouTube. I'm not going to lie about that.
It is amazing what they do.
So all the shoes are customized by the makers, and then the dancers have further customization, the things that they do to them.
When you see
darning
them, it's like trashing them. So that you do. Ideally, you don't want to hear them on the stage.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
How do you get around that noise? Because I know when I've heard dancers say at the start, we put the Pointe shoes on, their new Pointe shoes, and it literally sounds like a herd of baby elephants. Because all you can hear is just a stampede. It's like the scene from Lion King. There's a stampede coming towards you.
Yesterday we watched the Agony and Ecstasy, and then these 60 swans jumping. I mean, even if they try to be quiet, it's many
hard.
of them.
But how do dancers bash the shoe? To take the hardness out.
When the shoe is made, it's like Hessian and glue, layers of Hessian and glue repeatedly. So when it comes to you, they sound really, really like bricks. And what you have to do is you have to slightly break down all of that glue and everything, so it becomes slightly more manageable.
Okay.
So that it's not going to like hit the ground like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
But it's
still hard enough to support them.
So as you said, it has the point shoe has a very short life because you're breaking them down just to the point where they're just right so they don't sound too hard. But they're going to support you. And that doesn't last. Because once you put a hot foot in there, that's it. The glue starts to melt and everything. And that's it.
Have you ever been on Pointe in a production or anything?
Not in a production, but when you were little, I didn't stay up for very long. It really hurts.
Yeah,
but
They come and go with this trend that boys try to do exercise with they get used point shoes from the girls, and then they do. I see boys doing some exercises on the side
because today, technique is so high all round for men and women that it's really good for guys if they want to develop their footwork to go up into point shoes because it really makes you work your feet harder. So I understand that.
And some places do have optional point classes for men, don't they?
Totally.
Or at the more performing arts colleges, they might have heels classes for men or male identifying dancers and things like that.
Absolutely.
Which is, I suppose, like you say, it's another skill and another
It is
development,
another
isn't
skill.
it?
Totally, yeah.
So Akiko's referenced in the past, there's certain steps that take more time than others. And if you're a slightly inexperienced teacher, sometimes you might over-choreograph point exercises, which can then be slightly difficult and tricky to play for. And it can trip up even some of the more experienced pianists because what you're hearing and you're thinking about music-wise and tempo-wise, when you actually see it in action, obviously, as we've referenced hundreds of times, I'm not a dancer and I have never been a dancer. So
Go away.
You would know. Look at this body beautiful on YouTube. So I don't always know exactly how much time things take. Whereas Matt, you've probably got a better insight into that because you've had
but not about point work.
But steps can be sort of almost mis-choreographed in exercises with point, I've found. And musically, you've got to be incredibly adaptable sometimes in point classes, sort of pulling your tempos around and speeding up and slowing down sometimes to accommodate what the teacher's asking for these effectively training exercises on point, aren't they? And sometimes point classes can be an hour long and they can feel like 4 hours because it's incredibly slow sometimes. And it can, in the nicest way, it could be quite a laborious class to play, can't it? Because there's not a lot of artistry going on in these training classes.
It's medicinal, isn't it?
That's
certainly
the
in the early stages.
Yeah.
I think when the dancers get a bit older, you start choreographing amalgamations as opposed to just training exercises.
I always prepare myself to be flexible in terms of speed at any point.
I wish you'd be more flexible at home.
Where did that come from?
We've not had a marriage joke for a long time. I thought it was about time.
I'm flexible.
I'm joking. Sorry.
I'm the most understanding wife.
You're very good. Sorry, that was a really valid point. I trashed it with a cheap joke. Sorry, you prepared to be flexible.
Yeah, so you start off with whatever the tempo, but I'm ready to speed up or slow down at any point while I'm playing with a point shoes class more than the class, I think, because sometimes it's just like that. And then sometimes the teacher have no idea that the step 1 and step 2 has completely different speed. And then they just put both together in the same exercise. And then, when you start it and they realize that, the second part has to be faster or something like that. So I try to be ready to kind of speed up or speed down at any point when teacher gives an indication.
What's the step? I was editing an episode yesterday that's going to go out soon. I think you said that you find the most sort of unmusical step, or the one that teachers often choreograph, which is unmusical, is ton de cuisse.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
Oh, ton
It's
de
hard.
cuisse.
Yeah,
It's really hard to do.
It's not fit in the right place a lot of times, and then it's a bit uncomfortable.
It's to do with accents
It
and the
is. You
control of your body
Yeah.
to make those different accents happen. Because you're not leaving the floor a lot, you have to have enough control to either make it faster or slower, or different areas faster or slower compared to whichever half you're looking at. So I understand what you're saying, but it is difficult.
Ton de cuisse can either go and 1 and 2 or and a 1.
Exactly, that's what I'm
So
saying.
it can either go double time or
Yes.
slow time, depending on what it's
doing.
teamed with, what the exercise is. So
But if it doesn't happen and 1, and then it start on the 1, and it's a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just how it's from what's before.
Because it's like a step that almost crosses our beat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got a bit
That's
before
the
a beat and a bit
interest.
So
after
it's
the
very
beat.
difficult to fit in
Yeah.
musically, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So playing for Pointe classes, it's sort of like playing for any other class in terms of music, isn't it? And selection.
So it starts at the bar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 It starts
Yeah.
at the bar with some kind of plie kind
Yeah.
of movements
Yeah.
or releves and things, and they're kind of slow. What do you generally play for those?
A lot of words, a lot of polka kind of thing.
I was just saying before we hit the record button, I sort of throw out all my jazzy repertoire when I play for Pointe. I think, I don't know whether it's just, I feel like that the teachers generally set polkas, mazurkas, marches.
Or polka mazurka.
Oh, polka mazurka.
Polka mazurka.
I love those.
A Spanish waltz, please.
Oh my gosh. You know what? For Pointe shoes, with my experience, get ready at least one lilac fairy variation kind of waltz. They always have at least one exercise, like a lot of teacher mark with lilac fairy variation music and that sort of, kind of
Drawn out, isn't it?
yeah, that sort of waltz.
Yeah.
And it always have at least one in the Pointe class. So if you have few options of lilac fairy variation.
And I've said
Good
it
tip.
before and I'll say it again. Learn the Radetzky March. Because that is all, I play that every Pointe class.
And listeners,
Because it gets you out of jail.
yeah, the link for the PDF for that, if you want it and easy access to it, it's on your email, it's in the description on YouTube, and it's in the description below on your
Just
podcast app.
learn it.
So click on that if you want the easiest ever, quickest access to the music for the Radetzky March.
That's a really good one if you're doing soutanews from the corner, but you don't want a coda because it's a bit quick.
Oh, that's true.
A
Yeah.
Radetzky's at the
That's
moment,
very
it's a
good.
little bit slower.
Yeah.
And it's great for that.
Great.
I hadn't ever thought about that.
You know when a coda's a bit too quick?
Yeah.
Use that.
Excellent.
Get that on a
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
But yeah, like, especially when they start to do turning and then they want to do double, triple down and with the chord and things, they really want slower. And it becomes like music is a bit uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you would normally play can feel a bit uncomfortable
Yeah.
in tempo.
And then sometimes, like in actual just normal class, like teacher can shout at the dancers that or get on with it. But with the Pointe shoes,
You need time.
you got to be
You do. Yeah.
Oh, teachers shouting, that's what back in the day, isn't it?
Sorry, they don't shout
No,
anymore.
it's like
Raise our voice.
but nobody throws chairs around the studios anymore, do they?
No, not that I know of.
That's not allowed. That's well not allowed anymore. Oh, political correctness gone mad. But yeah, so basically, it's playing for this. It's this is a really sort of generalized summary. It's the same as anything. You want the same sort of rep. You still want to have something that's inspiring. You don't just want to be playing sort of wallflower music in the corner, because your students, your dancers, they still need something to be working with. Still need something inspiring to get up there.
Yeah, things that with accents and that give an uplift
Yeah.
are going to be helpful when you're trying to get up on point and
Yeah.
stay there.
That said, if I haven't got a tune, I'll improvise.
Yeah.
Because some things are just medicinal.
Yeah.
So my music's going to be medicinal.
Yeah.
If I haven't got a tune that the teacher wants for that rhythm, I'll just improvise something because I know it's going to be exactly what they've sung.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's more important than some fancy tune.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that
At
rhythm
that point.
is
Yeah, and
important
the rhythm,
to support the choreography and the understanding and the training, isn't it?
And sometimes teacher gets stuck with the same rhythm with the Pointe shoes class, especially at the bar. So it's like
Yes.
3-4 exercises with the same sort of musicality, and you just kind of run out what to play.
Right.
And then
Can I tell you my horror story of my Pointe work horror story?
Yes.
Go on.
It's at a company, not a school. A lovely teacher that we all know who's no longer at the company. She set this Pointe work exercise in the ladies' class. And it should have been, I always sing the can for this because it's like that. It should have been like releve and releve and releve and releve. Like it should have been
up and down.
quite nippy. But she was almost going like half time, releve and down and releve and down. Da, 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 da. And so I couldn't play quick enough. Do you know what I mean? It was just too slow for the women for her choice of accent. It was just too slow. It was hideous.
And they look at the others and be
The
like, what's
dancers are
going
looking
on?
at me like, I've got it wrong. And they're walking off and just literally horrendous. And then I tried to change up my tune to like a bit of a polka or something. And she went, oh, no, play that again. What I was playing before. I was like, it's not quick enough. It's wrong.
No,
it's all
fire
wrong.
coming off your fingers.
Or like, like sometimes like teacher, like échappé or something like this. The teacher clearly said and down.
Yeah.
And then all the girls started go and up.
Yeah.
And then teacher didn't even realize that she marked and down, and everybody went up, and it just got so complicated.
Because if you've got the perfect melody for that scene, you goes and a one, and a two, and then you do that and nothing happens. And then it's like, well, I'm giving as much as I can do.
And it's really difficult to fix because music is already there, and then they're going different timing.
Sometimes that's probably where improvisation is maybe more useful. Or just get your rhythm right and just twiddle your right hand and do something, because maybe the rhythm and the feel is more important for point work.
Try it. But so get in contact with us. Let us know what you play for point, how you play for point, what your fears are, or any horror stories, or just, any tips or tricks that you think would be good to share with the community. It'd be great to hear from you as listeners or as teachers.
And then Chris is going to try the point shoes.
We'll get some from a recycling bin in London or somewhere.
If someone gives me point shoes and David lets me hold on to him really hard, there you go. I might try some point shoes. If we get our Instagram followers over.
Can you wear those pink tights as well?
Or what, like I'm dressed up for grade 1 RAD?
That's the one.
Get in the bin. Right, while I run away from my best friends, I'm going to say goodbye. So, hang on, no, before we go, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and we are at Ballet Piano Podcast. Or if you want to go 2000 and 2010 years and email us, the address is balletpianopodcast@gmail.com. So, for now, it's goodbye from me.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.